can see it, it's just outside.
Any zombies out there?
Don't say that.
What?
That.
What?
That. The Z word, don't say it.
Why not?
Because it's ridiculous.
All right. Are there any out there, though?
Can't see any. Maybe it's not as bad as all that. Oh, no, there they are.
Any of that seem important to you?
All of it. That box never shuts up. Sit in this seat and pay too much attention and you'll drive yourself crazy.
I recently spent a couple of days playing through The Walking Dead for the first time. Not this Walking Dead. This Walking Dead. If you haven't heard of this one, it's an episodic point-and-click game set in the same universe as the comic books. Now don't get me wrong, this game isn't just a guilty pleasure for fans. The Walking Dead received rave reviews from critics and the public alike, even being considered a potential Game of the Year by popular outlets such as Giant Bomb. Not bad for a point-and-click adventure. As a survivor of the zombie apocalypse, your character is forced to make some very difficult choices throughout the game. These choices can have wide-ranging effects, often spanning over several episodes. Other characters will remember what you say during conversations, and their relationship to you will change based upon the information you decided to give them, and the actions you take.
I'm not a monster.
Good.
The reason I want to talk about this game is that I found it to be one of the most affecting games I've ever played. By this, I mean that I felt a genuine connection to both the other characters in the game and the way that the story unfolds. That the focus of the game is on this isn't surprising. Each episode begins by reminding you of the fact that the story will change based upon your own decisions. You're also given a TV-style rundown of the relevant highlights from the previous chapters, complete with a "previously on The Walking Dead" voiceover. By introducing each episode in this way, it reminds you of the conversations you've had, the choices you've made, and the people you've lost along the way. It's an incredibly effective way of making the player feel as though the narrative is their own, rather than the developers'. As I mentioned earlier, this is a point-and-click game. However, it is a significantly different breed to the other giants in the genre, such as the Sam & Max games or the Monkey Island series. There are moments in the game where a character will be forced to act quickly, whether it's to interject during an argument or shake a zombie loose. Unlike many games in this genre, it's definitely possible for you to die, though it's more of an inconvenience since you're usually just sent back to a few moments before the start of the sequence. The more worrying thing is that the decisions you make in these split seconds often have a serious effect on the story. You may have to decide who to save when multiple characters are under attack, and your quick choice will determine which character makes it and which one doesn't. Even normal conversations are timed, with a non-response simply acting as if your character has nothing to say. You always have to be on the ball whenever you're playing, because not paying attention to the things you tell the other characters could see them become anxious, or even turn on you. The player will build a far stronger emotional attachment to the other characters in this game than those in any other title. How could you not, considering the other characters interact naturally with your character and respond to your every move? Because of this, the prospect of the few survivors you meet turning against you becomes far more of a concern than actually hitting a game over. One of the most important characters in the game is Clementine. She's a young girl who you meet at the start of the first episode and becomes a fixture in the game. Her parents were in Savannah when the world collapsed, and your character, Lee, takes her under his wing.
You've been all by yourself through this?
Yeah, I want my parents to come home now.
I think that might be a little while, you know?
Oh,
Look, I don't know what happened, but I'll look after you until then.
what should we do now?
Her development is largely based upon the actions you take. Do you raise her as a tough-nosed survivor who can deal with situations in a cold, calculating manner? Or do you try and preserve her innocence as best you can, protecting her from the horrors of the outside world? Like the majority of other decisions in the game, there is no right or wrong choice. Lots of games try and provide players with meaningful choices, but often fall flat. This may be due to the choices boiling down to being simple binary choices, or for appearing only to change a single moment of the game without spreading to the rest of the story. In The Walking Dead, every choice is hard. Every choice is meaningful. And every choice will eventually lead to someone getting hurt. Not because you did something wrong, but because there's just not enough good in this world to go around.
Don't make me do this! Man.
Thanks to the superb writing and wonderful interactivity between the player and Clementine, I can honestly say that I felt emotionally connected to Clementine by the end of the game in a way that I've never experienced in games before. Sure, I've been fond of characters, but I rarely see them as anything beyond a function of the game itself. Watching her act in the way I taught her, or speak up for other characters in a more adult fashion than the other adults in the group, made me feel genuine pride, which is staggering for a somewhat jaded, cynical person like myself. Having played games for so long, I always have difficulty looking at the games the way the developer intended. I often feel like I need to look behind the curtain at the engine, the systems, the various components that make up the game. When it comes to The Walking Dead, I feel the opposite. People who have already played the game will notice that all the footage here comes from the start of the first episode. This isn't because I'm lazy, but because I don't want to spoil anything. This is a landmark title that everyone should try. It's available on PC and console, so there's no excuse not to play it. Developers, more of this, please. And less of this. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next episode.